The wedding industry is filled with fun, interesting, and exciting people. But behind closed doors, they're struggling to find space as they fight for a chance to be at the top as they compete with countless people who seek the same goal. Tune in as our Minister of Love, Maria Romano, goes on a deep dive with the award-winning event planner, DJ, and CEO of fun at Sight and Sound Events, Jodi Harris, on how you can thrive and incorporate current trends in the wedding industry to make a couple's wedding memorable and magical.
How are we doing? Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to have my dear friend, and known her for several years, but she's also like one of the top DJs here in Las Vegas. And she does DJing, she does events, she comes from the broadcasting industry, the television industry in New York. So welcome, hugs and kisses.
Woo, hugs and kisses. Woo.
I put on special perfume for you. Could you smell it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could smell it. Well, it's smell-o-vision, everybody.
Smell-o-vision here, right, exactly.
Maria, thank you for having me on. Maria is amazing. Like what I do on DJing, Maria does when she marries you. I've never seen energy. I've never seen a minister quite like Maria. I mean, she really brings the love, the fun, and Maria, any butterflies anybody ever has. That's why I would never do it. I would never want to be an officiant. I love you, but I don't want to be.
That's okay. I'm keeping my day job and I don't want your night job. So we're fair. We are so fair. So
amazing. Just a very high energy, just like you see her, folks, just like you see her here. She's very high energy and a lot of fun.
Well, tell us a little bit about, because it's wedding season's going to be here soon. We know it's engagement season right now. As a matter of fact, I run into 3 or 4 people that said, hey, I got engaged, and right away they're all talking, people from here, people from all over you get to meet. And they're all talking about their weddings and they're planning them. And, as far as the officiant part, sometimes that's not on top of their list all the time, but we're not here to talk about what I do. We're here to focus on the magic that Jodi shares and her business. So tell us a little bit about really what a DJ is all about and what they actually do and bring to an actual wedding. Actually, not just a wedding ceremony, everybody, events in general.
Yeah, because a lot of times, you'll see a DJ at a wedding ceremony. And that's just because the couple doesn't want to do like live entertainment, and they'd rather walk down the aisle to the real Christina Perri 1,000 years and not some lady on a harp trying to play it. So a lot of times you'll see a DJ at a ceremony, and that's cool. But what we bring to the party, so the ceremony is a ceremony. It's a very serious thing. It's not like woo-hoo-hoo, unless you pick some crazy songs, and then it could be fun. But getting back to like the reception part, the party, it's your party. You just had a monumental occasion happen. You just got married in front of all your friends and family. And this is your opportunity to throw a party, your first party as a newly married couple. So this is the first party you're going to throw. And a DJ is so important because let me tell you something. Years ago, Oprah did a thing on, weddings. And one of the things that Oprah talked about was flowers, the food, decor, that kind of thing. So Oprah asked recent couples, like, okay, so what did you have for dinner? People didn't remember what they ate. Was it chicken? Was it fish? I don't know. I don't know. Then she asked them, what were the wedding colors? Nobody agreed. Nobody can remember what the wedding colors were. I think they were blue. No, they were purple. No, it was yellow. Nobody remembered that. But when Oprah asked them, what do you remember about the party? They always said dancing and fun and the music. That was always number one. So that is how important finding a good entertainer, good entertainment is, whether you decide to go the DJ route, which is very popular because it's very affordable, and you get to hear the music performed by the real artists. So it's not some singer's interpretation of Uptown Funk. It's Bruno Mars singing Uptown Funk. So that is the more affordable option. But then there are also live entertainment, like back where Maria and I are from the East Coast. Back on the East Coast, it was always a band. It was always a band performing, and maybe the DJ would, rock out at the breaks. But yeah, so we bring the fun, we create those magic moments, we create all that.
Sidebar. So anybody listening, so Jodi and I know each other for years.
Yes.
She lives near my aunt, my only living aunt in Yonkers. I was blown away, everybody. So this is a small world.
It was a small world. She goes, "Where are you going for Christmas?" I go, "Yonkers." She goes, "Oh, I have an aunt that lives in Yonkers." I'm like, "No way." I said, "Where in Yonkers?" She said, "Oh, on Neeland Avenue." I'm like, Maria, my house is right there on the corner of Neeland. Then she tells me who her aunt is. I grew up with her aunt. Her aunt is the coolest person I know, and her daughter and son. Yeah. So,
well, I got to tell you, so anybody listening, so my aunt always sends me prayers, rosaries, very, very Italian. We're a very, very Italian family, but, yes. And you come from that background as well. We get a little fiery, as we know. But speaking of what you're talking about with DJ, it's true. Any party that I've been to, okay, and the last one was over the holidays, it was all about the music. But I have to tell you, the DJ sets the tone and how the music is set up. And I'm not going to sit here and critique what I heard and what I didn't hear, but I think it's also important knowing the mood and knowing what's going on, right? Because you're not going to blast music.
No.
Right. I was at an event where it was great, but the thing is, the DJ was blasting the music and you really couldn't have conversation with people at that time. I think after dinner. So, yeah, I know you have a pattern for that, as well. But you know what, Jodi, the DJ is the MC. Okay. So share a little bit about that. You are like the MC. You have to bring an energy level to you.
Yes. Because nobody wants to go to an event where, "Hi, everybody. Hello. How's it going? Okay. We're here at Maria and Steve's wedding." Yeah. That's the toughest part of what we do as being a wedding DJ. The toughest part is the emceeing, because everybody knows how to play music, supposedly. And we'll get into that because it also has to do with what Maria said, programming. Mm-hmm. But the hardest part of our job is making somebody being a high energy MC. MC is the thing. They are the director. They are the Steven Spielberg. They are the James Cameron of your event. They're the ones that put it all together. And, it's not like, because I've seen bad DJs in my life, and it's not like, "Hey, shut up, everybody. Shut up. Shh. It's not that. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could get everybody's attention. They're still talking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I could get your attention," and you talk lower, and then all of a sudden you've got everybody's attention in the room. So, it's not like, "Hey, be quiet over there." It's just, you just got to know how to say things. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you for the very first time. They are Las Vegas's newest married couple. They are Kevin and Veronica Lum, something like that. You got to build. It's like being Ryan Seacrest.
You know what? It's interesting. You just said something, and I just heard this on TikTok, and I was going to add, one of the trends that the wedding planners was saying is, don't do that grand entrance anymore. Enjoy the cocktail party with the DJ and do the grand exit instead of the DJing saying, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Harris," announcing them for the very first time, blah, 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 to say it at the end. Tell me, are you starting to see that, or what trends are happening? Share a little bit about that.
I'm not seeing a lot of that. Everybody's still pretty much doing a grand entrance, but they're not introducing the whole bridal party.
And what about the first dance?
Just the newlyweds. The first dance, definitely they're still first dancing, but what people are doing, and it really caught on in Dallas, Texas was really, I think, one of the first ones, is they're doing these private last dances. And I've done about 3 of them now, believe it or not. We've only done 3 of them.
I've heard of that also.
Here in Vegas. But basically what you do is, it's like 10 minutes before the party ends, you have your last dance with all your guests, right? Everybody, woo, woo. When that song is over, you ask everybody, your MC will be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin and Veronica have requested a private last dance moment. So I'm going to ask everybody if you can please just step out into the hallway and give them 5 minutes." And then the only people that are left in the room are the bride and groom and the DJ. And to be honest with
And
you,
the photographer sometimes, or
sometimes, yeah, a
if
lot
they're
of
there,
times,
if they're
yeah,
still
they're
there.
there, if they're there, but
Or
generally,
videographer, yeah.
yeah, if they're there, they're probably sticking around. But it's kind of weird because it's very raw moment. It is a raw moment. So every time I've done them, and all the 3 times that I've done them, I've actually left the room. I've actually just stood behind a wall, like I was in the room, but not in the room, if you know what I mean.
No, I understand, because it is a very intimate, private moment.
It was intimate. That was the word.
And that's if you can manage to stay awake, because what happens is I think personally, you should have the wedding ceremony. Go have your wedding ceremony, right?
Right.
Not that I love a crowd. You know me, I love working a crowd, but sometimes you're doing the wedding ceremony, you're getting ready, and then you're doing the wedding ceremony, then you're going on to pictures and cocktail hour and the dinner hour, the cake cutting, and whatever it is. And you really are exhausted by that time. Well, at least at my age, I'd be exhausted by it.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean,
They
and
are.
they really,
Yeah.
Maria, don't get that private moment. Like, because
Yeah.
even when they're doing their first dance, all eyes are on them.
It's not a private moment.
Everybody's in the room. And everybody's in the room watching them. If they have a wedding of 100 people, there are 98 people watching them have that first dance. So by kicking everybody, not kicking, but asking them to leave, to give the bride and groom a private moment, it's just a bride and a groom, or a groom and a groom, or a bride and a bride, just them in their attire. Just, it's the end of the night. They're like, can you believe we did that? It's that kind of feeling. I mean, imagine if you were alone with your spouse.
So it's really a last dance. I don't want to call it a last dance, but
it's their last.
It's their dance. We call it a private dance. We're going to come up with a name. Let's come up with a name.
No, I don't know. I've just heard it talked about a bunch of times. Because again, friends of mine, in Texas have been doing it for years. And because I go to DJ conferences and events, and I belong to a think tank with other, DJs from around the country. And that is, that's something that, we discuss these things, trends.
You got to come up with the hashtag for that. So talk about programming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take a moment. You mentioned that you wanted to expand on that. Let's do that.
So I want people to think of their wedding reception in 3 parts, right? Part 1 is your cocktail hour. What kind of background music do you want to have played at your cocktail hour? Do you want it to be vintage Vegas, which is like a Rat Pack thing? Do you want it to be like, loungy, which is more like chill, like West End Hotel? So you think about that. And then when it comes to dinner hour, what kind of vibe do you want to have? Do you want to have that Guardians of the Galaxy sing along, come and get your love, that old Motown stuff, where people sing along as they eat dinner, like that kind of vibe? And then you have party mode, no holds barred. Upbeat, fun, uptown funk,
Cupid shuffle, electric slide, bring it all out.
Exactly. But
it's interesting.
You got to know how to program. You just can't jump from, like, you got to keep the genre together. If you're in that Tupac, California Love, you're going to go into Salt and Pepper Shoop. You might go into, so you can't be going from like country music to hip hop music. Like you got to have a way of like just kind of programming it and bringing it all together.
Yeah. When I was at an event not too long ago, the DJ was a great person. However, I have to tell you the programming, and I recognize that as well, because, and this is so important to anybody that's listening, the event was great. The problem is during the cocktail hour, the music was not the music to be played. It should have been a little bit more low key.
Right.
And the dinner as well. And then, of course, when you get to the evening event, of course, just bust it all out, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because your cocktail hour is really, they don't care what you're playing, honestly.
No, but you want to have time, and you just need to be there.
They want to talk.
Right, and talk, and then take them over. So I agree with you, and that's the biggest thing, and people need to pay attention to. Most of the people, whether it's an event, you're doing a corporate event or a whatever it is in a wedding, do they pick their playlist, or how do you come up with all these fabulous songs?
Well, a lot of times you'll do what we call a design session. So a design session is just a fancy word that you should have with any of your vendors, your entertainment particularly. But about 10 days before your wedding, You'll have a design session with your entertainer, and that's when you go over the timeline. You'll get a timeline, hopefully from the hotel or from the venue, telling you when these things are happening. And then you tell your clients, okay, what music are you into, especially when they book you. When they first book you, in my company, we give them a digital key that unlocks the vault, right? So I can only speak for what I do, but once you hire somebody like myself, we give you a digital key that unlocks a vault. And inside our vault, the DJ vault, is all the music, like lots of lists. We break them down by decades. We break them down by top 200. We break them down by, the top 200 most requested. So that gives the couples a really good idea. Mm-hmm. The other thing I highly recommend to our couples is, if everybody has Spotify or Apple Music, whatever it is, start putting together a playlist of your favorite songs and then share that with the DJ. Don't program the entire wedding. If you have a 4-hour reception, don't give us 8 hours worth of music, because we're not going to get to all of it unless we play just the chorus. So they'll start dancing, go, like, that's not cool. So, but that's where we get our ideas and we get our inspiration. We get them from you, our clients. Our clients are the ones that tell us. We talk about the don't playlist. To me, a don't playlist is way more important than a playlist. Way more important, because how do I not know that this couple might have been married before? And, let's say Shania Twain, you're still the one for this. Just came
was the first dance for or the entrance song for the ceremony on the first or the second. Right. Yeah. Married.
Exactly. I've heard so many horror stories about people that don't ask that question. I always ask, is there a song have you ever been married before? Not that I'm nosy. I just want to know it. A, and B,
what songs did you use?
Is there a song that reminds you of an ex?
Nobody wants that. So it's interesting you talked about that, but isn't there also a way people can also request songs? They can just either scan it over, or that you have a QR code, which I think is phenomenal.
Yes.
That's if you have the time. Right. Now, probably more for events that you're doing corporately. I don't know about during the wedding, but both, I'm sure. So tell everybody they also have the option too of having their guest input. And it
depends on who your DJ is, but I can only speak for myself. Again, during COVID, one of the things that, we did was we created a QR code, and we went into Google and we created an Excel sheet or a Google sheet, and we attached it to the QR code. So we dropped these little squares on all the tables, and we made an announcement, ladies and gentlemen, if there's something you'd like to dance to, something you'd like to request, and you don't feel comfortable coming up to us, use the QR code, and you could scan, you could type in your song, and the DJ gets notified on their phone. Best thing ever. I know COVID's sort of over. It's really over, that kind of stuff. But I kept it because people don't like, some people are nervous about going up to the DJ, and maybe their song sucks. Let's face it, their song might really stink, and they're afraid that by coming to the DJ and asking for Puff the Magic Dragon, I'm gonna go like, what? Puff the Magic Dragon? Like,
would you play it?
No, I wouldn't.
So
true story. By the way, Puff the Magic Dragon was a true story. But if I keep getting it, so if I keep seeing, like, on the request sheet, Puff, when are you going to play Puff? When are you going to play Puff? I would get on the microphone and say, ladies and gentlemen, just want to know, for the person that's requesting Puff, we're not going to play it. I'm sorry. It's just.
Have you had, so tell us the story. Can you give us a memorable story about an event that you think all of our listeners would like to hear?
Oh, God.
A song that maybe was a faux pas, was a hit.
That's a tough one, because I do so many weddings. I DJ'd last year personally over 120 events. I say 120 over because there might be like 3 or 4 that maybe weren't accounted for. But, so I'm just trying to think. Really, Maria, the most fun weddings we do are the ones where we have complete trust. When the couple completely 100% trusts us, then we're going to have the most amazing wedding on the face of the planet, because you told me what you like, you told me what you didn't like, and we're going to go with it. Like a lot of people love the rings. Like we love giving out light up rings, the bling rings. We're in Vegas. So we like to give away a lot of light up stuff. And that always makes for a fun event. We call them disco sticks. But yeah, a lot of times we'll have an Elvis show up and surprise the guests, and he'll come out and he'll perform, especially since the movie Elvis was so popular, this past year, and it's up for possibly an Academy Award, Austin Butler. So, like people are now into the whole Elvis vibe again. So, and that's fun because they're jumping around and dancing with Elvis. I mean,
and also the Wednesday dance. That's a big deal.
Yeah, well,
I actually looked at that. I was looking at it up on like the biggest trend. People are they're doing it as first dances too. Well,
that is brand new. That is just started. It just
all over TikTok. Yeah,
all over TikTok, and that's like a trend. And this weekend I experimented with it because I wanted to see if my clients would know what the Wednesday dance is. So it's called Goo Muck. The song is called Goo Muck. And I played it, like mixed it in. And I noticed that people were at their tables doing the dance, I thought that was really, they were doing the dance. And then you heard other people go, that's the Wednesday dance. That's the Wednesday dance. So TikTok and pop culture definitely affect what's going on in the world.
It's true. That does make you right. And you know what's interesting? So a couple of things before we sign off, and I want to thank anybody that's listening out there today. And we're going to put this out on all of the different platforms that I'm on. When it comes to podcasting, I'm now on Sirius XM.
Oh, great.
So that's good too. Yeah, we're trying to move up our rankings, but it's important that I try to bring the listeners, when it comes to weddings, as you know, and events, what is the newest trend. And I think in Las Vegas, definitely we are on the forefront, not just because we're the wedding capital of the world, but we're on the forefront with things and trends that are going on. So what other trends are you seeing that you want to share with everyone, and how they can get in touch with you, Jodi, which I'll put it into the show notes as well.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. So I see a lot of trends that are going on right now. A lot of things have to do with the uplights, the room decor, the lighting. If you see behind me, my room is kind of blue behind me. That's uplights. So that is definitely very popular at events right now. We're seeing a lot of uplighting and monograms. When people first walk in, they see their name or initials on the wall or on the dance floor. That's very cool. A lot of venues will not allow you to use smoke. I know a lot of people see that Dancing on the Clouds thing, and that it's a little bit harder in Las Vegas to get that approved. People are doing it, but it's okay.
Maybe at private venues they can do that. Like a fun thing. And the smoke things are great for pictures. Talk about photos too.
The photo smoke bombs are also fun for your photos with your photographer. That's a really cool trend.
My next photo shoot, everyone.
Yes, because you could do that outside.
Exactly. I'm using smoke red.
Yeah, or anything like that.
Right.
But a lot of people are cutting back on the traditional stuff. You're not seeing as many cake cuttings anymore. Right. The bouquet and garter toss are really going away. So it's really just more like, a first dance, a father-daughter moment, a mother-son moment. The bride and groom will go to a wedding cake and cut it, but they don't want a lot of hoopla or fanfare or all eyes on us anymore. And really, who wants to be that one single person singled out at a wedding? Okay, single people, come on up, so that's so
embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. So that's kind of gone away as well. But so and then bringing in maybe some extra entertainment, like we talked about the Elvis. For some weddings, it could be a showgirl. We have showgirls that can come in and do stuff. So that kind of
right, or somebody that wants, depending on the age.
Even a magician for cocktail hour, where the sleight of hand guy is there for 1 hour, and he's while you're off taking pictures with your guests, wedding pictures, your guests are being entertained by a guy who's going to do a few card tricks walking around to people.
If you have kids, the balloon lady coming in, or the balloon guy is good too, walking around. So,
or a lot of times, Maria, they'll give the kids a special table and they'll put all these games on it, like puzzles and crayons, and the kids just go at it like they have their own kid table and they get served kid food. you know, like
So important that when you have kids at any event, you have to take them into consideration. And I agree with you that cheeseburgers are great. I love a cheeseburger and fries anyway. Or
oh
chicken
my God,
fingers,
yes.
or
And then
cheese.
well, Maria, too, if you wanted to not throw the bouquet and you have a lot of kids at your wedding, get a teddy bear and do a teddy bear toss.
That is a great idea.
Only the kids. You just get all the young kids there and you get a teddy bear and you toss it, and that makes the kids feel special.
So Jodi, tell us how we can get in touch with you. Just right now, anybody that's listening, I'm going to put everything, of course, in the show notes. And
awesome. I will. So I am all over social media. Probably the best place to get in touch with me would be, there's two places. There's our company, which is Sight and Sound. So it's Sight and the letter N, sound.info. It's a one link, like a link tree. It'll take you to all our social media. And then me personally, I'm Jodi Harris.info. Same thing, Jodi, Jodi, Harris.info. It's a one link that takes you to all my social media.
Jodi, this has been long overdue. I am so glad you came on, because you provided just the teddy bear toss, the kids table, just talking about programming. Anybody that is looking to put on any event, this was valuable information. I'm sending you virtual hugs and kisses. Yes. I'll see you anyway next week. Stay on. Bye, everybody. Thank you.